What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. In this video today, I just want to have a quick conversation, man. One of the things I've noticed about a lot of people, myself included at times, one of the reasons I see for why we can't move forward or why we don't typically move forward is just because we don't have a vision for our life. We haven't decided, we haven't determined that place where we want to go. And there are a multiplicity of reasons for that we're not going to get into in this video. But it can be summed up with just a couple of points. One reason a lot of people don't have a vision for their life is simply because they're living in survival mode. The way their life is operating, the way things are set up for them, all they can think about is the next day. All they can think about is the next paycheck. All they can think about is that next meal. They don't have the time to sit back and ponder. They don't have time to sit back and create. And when you're living in that state, right, when you're living in survival mode, you know there's nothing else that you can do. Although there's a bunch of things you want to do, you feel limited by your circumstances, you feel limited by your resources, and you feel as though that's all that's available to you. Without creating that internal space first, right? Without first going inside and just finding a bit of room, you're not going to begin to really get out of it, right? Because you feel like the world is closing in on you. You feel like everything is against you and everything is an uphill climb. So that's one reason, right? Another reason many people don't have a vision for their own life is because they're stuck in the vision of somebody else. They're stuck in the vision of their parents. They're stuck in the vision of their teachers. They're stuck in the vision of somebody that they admire. But their path isn't your path. Their life isn't meant to be your life. And what a lot of people don't realize, right, what a lot of us fail to observe is the fact that God has given us a unique frequency in our souls. Our lives are unique for the purpose that God has given to us. We are here, I believe, for a particular reason. I believe everybody has something that they are meant to do. And it may not be reaching millions and millions of people all over the world for a particular purpose. It may not be serving millions or billions of people. It could just be being an awesome human being where you are. But if you're stuck on somebody else's vision and you're applying your time and your energy to that, then you're feeling you don't have the internal resources necessary to complete your own mission. So we got to we have to learn to recognize when we're walking in somebody else's vision for our life and when we're not being true to what God has put inside of us. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But the reason this is so important is because it plays into something I talk about in this ebook here, right? The five laws to live by. It's real short. You can read it in one sitting. But one of those laws is the law of identity. Right? Who do you see yourself to be? If you were to figure that out, so much in your world would begin to shift. And one of those things that shifts for you as you figure out who it is that you are and as you begin to declare who it is you are and as you begin to walk that out in the world is this vision begins to come to fruition, right? You begin to actually see where it is you want to go and where it is you can go. So there are just a few bullet points I want to hit in this conversation with y'all, right? So why is it important to have this vision for your life? One, having a vision for your life guides everything you do every single day, or at least it should, right? When you know where it is you're going, you can then, reverse engineer the process of getting there, although you've never gotten there before. This is why we research. This is why we ask questions. This is why we talk to people who have done what it is that we are looking to do. We talk to those people who have gone before us, who have already carved out a path for themselves, and we take from them what we can, and we just sort of leave the rest. Because our mission, our journey, our purpose is wholly uniquely our own. There is no rule that says you have to do anything exactly like somebody else, like how somebody else had done it. Your way is really up to you. What the Spirit of God speaks to you in your heart about your mission, about your purpose, about your vision, that's the way you go. And having one is essential because, like I said, it will help guide your actions every single day. You won't have to wake up and ask, what am I going to do today? Because if the vision is still the same, then the end goal is still the same. So then you know how to put one foot in front of the other, doing the things that are necessary if you've mapped it out, right? If you mapped it out, then you know the things that you have to do. every single day. Also, knowing where you're going, right? Having this vision. And I'm not talking about having a vision in terms of manifestation, right? Visualization in that sense is the same and is different. I'll talk about that in a different video soon. But again, having this vision allows you to be definite. It allows you to order your life in such a way that you know what you're about and other people know what you're about. And here's the thing. When other people know what you're about, they're willing to help. When other people know you're moving in a certain direction, they bring resources, they bring information, they bring opportunities. But if you don't know what you're about and you can't speak to it, if you can't say, hey, this is who I am and this is where I'm going, shout out to Soul. If you can't speak to that, then nobody's going to be alert, right? They're not going to be aware to what it is you got going on. And so they're not going to be able to give you what it is they possibly could give you had they known. It's up to you to clarify this vision, walk in it, talk about it, speak to it, speak from it, literally become that version of yourself that exists in that space. And here's the thing, it doesn't take time to become that person. Yes, it takes time to become the person, but hear what I'm saying. The moment you conceive the idea is the moment you can step into that identity. Again, check out the book, 5 Laws to Live By, right? The link is down below in the description. When you have determined clearly this for yourself and you begin to walk in it, you're going to be amazed at the amount of things that begin to happen as a result. It's going to seem like magic at first, but after a while, you begin to learn that, hey, this is the way of the world. This is just how things go. Also, third point, right? Having a vision prevents you from drifting. The main reason people are in jobs that they don't like, the main reason they are in relationships they want to leave, the main reason they are a part of groups, clubs, organizations, the reason they hang out with people that they can't stand is simply because they don't know where it is they would rather be. They just know they don't want to be there. But because they don't have a vision, they don't have that motivation and that drive that comes from it, right? They don't have the inspiration in order to leave. Because having a vision, right, when you know where you're going and you're definite about it and you can stand 10 toes on it, it actually gives you a certain level of courage that you wouldn't have otherwise. And so by having this clear vision for yourself, like I said, it prevents you from drifting. It prevents you from just going along just to get along. You don't have to go along with anything when you know where you're going. Because there's a Bible verse that talks about people being tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. What the writer was saying is that when you're not grounded in truth, when you're not grounded in what's sure, any and everything that comes along is going to take you with it. Having a vision for your life and determining that that's where you're going is like grounding yourself in ultimate truth. It doesn't matter who comes. It doesn't matter what goes. This is where you're going. And nothing's going to stop you from getting there. The last thing I want to say on this is that you have to accept the vision that God has put on your heart and given to your mind. Of course, we can look around the world and we can see things that we would want to do. We can see places we want to go. We can envision ourselves being like certain individuals that we may admire. But at the end of the day, only the Spirit of God knows exactly where you need to be. Only God knows exactly what is for you. Only God knows where you will best fit a position of service for the world. It's easy to look out in the world and want to accumulate a lot of money. It's easy to look out and want to have the nicest houses and the best cars and the most beautiful spouse or partner or whatever, right? It's easy to look and see those things, but is that truly what your soul desires? Is that lifestyle in resonance with the frequency of your soul? If you can't answer that honestly or truthfully, you need to slow down and get quiet and just listen to what's occurring inside of you. What are the things that are happening in the world that bring you pain? What problems do you look out and see and have a desire to solve? Better than that, what problems do you see that you actually have a solution to? Because that's going to begin to guide you in the direction of what this vision is that God has clearly put in your life and put on your heart. You don't have to drift. You don't have to just go along with what the world says simply because the world system is built to drain your energy. The world system is set up specifically to take from you. But what did Christ say? He said, I have come that you might have life and have that more abundantly. God, the Spirit is not looking to drain your life. Whatever God puts on your heart for you to do is actually going to give you life. It's going to enhance your life in almost every single way. But you have to get over the fact that there are going to be a lot of people who don't like it. There are going to be people who disagree with it. There are going to be people who don't understand. And so what? What God has called you to do, you don't just have the opportunity. You basically have the responsibility to do that because nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else can do what you've been called to do because you've been called specifically for this purpose. So whatever that vision is, grab it, hold on to it, nurture it, and step into it. Like I said, man, law of identity, I talk about it, 5 laws to live by. Get the book right now through the link in the description. And yeah, if not in the next video, within the next couple of videos, I'm going to really begin to unpack, how visualization plays into this. I had mentioned it earlier, but seeing yourself there already and actually going through the steps, like doing the thing in your mind, absolute game changer. But I'll get into that in a little bit. Holla at y'all.